I'm Ron Vetter. I'm a professor in the Department of Computer Science. What I like about Wilmington is, one, the weather. You're near the coast, so if you like the water and the beach, that's nice. But I also like Wilmington just because it's a small town. You get to know people as you're out and about in the community. You run into people that you know. The university is a significant part of the community. Wilmington actually has an excellent airport, nice and small. You can get there 15 minutes before and get on your flight. I think UNCW probably has the nicest campus in the state. Where UNCW, the campus all looks the same in the sense that the Georgian architecture has been consistent throughout its fairly young history. So I think from that standpoint, it's a beautiful campus, and it's self-contained, and it feels like a campus, which isn't. So faculty spend most of their time working with students one-on-one. Yeah, so in the CSIS program, I primarily teach the network programming class, and network programming has to deal with writing applications that run over the network. So for example, if someone came to you and said, build me a web browser, well, the web browser has to talk to a web server over the network, and so we talk a lot about protocols and standards that are used. We talk about security issues, but it's primarily applications development as well. We look at both the client side, the server side. We look at other kinds of architectures like peer-to-peer, things like that. And it's a course I think that most students really enjoy. The facilities at UNCW I think are probably second to none. You notice the buildings are very clean, very open, very modern looking, very much accessible. Yeah, so we're sitting in the network lab, and the network lab was set up as a sort of a standalone facility, something that I'm not aware of any other university, at least in North Carolina and pretty much across the country, that has a room that's designed to be configurable space, that's designed to have a dedicated network connection off of the main campus network. So if we want to set up different server farms and try to emulate different geographic regions, New York, LA, Tokyo, and have students do systems that are built sort of like a real world system, but in a sort of a small fashion, they can prototype things like that here. They can set up a server that allows them to watch external traffic coming in and maybe hacking in. So again, the idea of a honeypot, which is where you watch people from the outside sort of try to intrude your network or intrude your system, and you can monitor all of that. You couldn't do that unless you had a facility like this. One of the novel things I think about the CSIS program is that we allow students to not only do the more traditional thesis kind of capstone, but we also allow more implementation-based, real-world kinds of projects that they can work on. For example, in my case, I've worked with students in the area of mobile phone development, looking at where that all is going. And there's a lot of interest in mobile development right now, as everyone might know. We have done projects that are much more business oriented in the sense that students were interested in starting a business. And so part of their capstone wasn't only just implementing something, but also looking at some of the business components and how they might do a startup. Yeah, the Master's in CSIS is still a fairly young program. It's only 6 years old or so, and initially, as all new programs, it's going through some growing pains. I think we've gotten to the point now where it's stable. We've worked out a lot of the process details, but I think it's the time also now to take it to the next level. So we're really looking for students who want to come here, really immerse themselves in the program. Yeah, we provide quite a few scholarships for students. There's lots of demand for the kinds of skills that these students not only are going to acquire, but also have when they come into the program. So many other units on campus, and even across the region, are interested in hiring students before they even graduate. And so you can work while you go to school. Placement to this point has been 98%, if not 100%. So I had a student who worked with their local regional transit authority to build not only bus tracking capabilities for their buses in real time, but also providing that information on LCD screens inside the terminal, as well as LED screens on the outside of the terminal. He developed an algorithm to estimate time of arrival for the buses, and he developed mobile interfaces so you could get the same information not only by text message, but also on your mobile web browser if you had a smartphone. And that project, I've actually been contacted recently by someone who said it was by far the best paper he's ever read by a student. which told me something.